Hello everyone! In this video, I'm going to be showing off our new gaming computer. In most of my videos, you can see me playing the game on ultra settings, and you guys often ask what my computer specs are. While this build is pretty overkill for online gaming, our new computer is treating us really well so far in our various hobbies. So why are we upgrading? Our computer was having random crashes that were getting more and more frequent that were related to the motherboard, and we were hoping to be able to play some offline games we like on higher graphics settings with less lag. Our CPU was so old that we winded up having to upgrade most of the computer except for a few pieces from the past build. We decided to make a custom-built computer since that's what we had before, and my husband enjoys building computers as a hobby. Not to mention, it's often at least a little bit cheaper to do it yourself, and sometimes a lot cheaper. So we made a new one pretty much from scratch, moved the leftover parts into our household family computer, and shipped a household computer spare parts to another online community member whose computer was crashing. We're pretty lucky that we could shop around multiple places for deals, so we went for parts that were not too expensive, but were a good upgrade. We're also lucky that we're a couple, so we can work on a computer with a budget of 2 people in mind instead of building a computer alone. I use our main computer for video editing, and my husband uses it for gaming and modding. We're also very grateful we have funds from both YouTube money as well as pledges from Patreon to work with that help fund some of the upgrades, so big thank you to you guys. The timing was especially perfect because, as I mentioned earlier, our computer started crashing and was having all kinds of crazy random errors, and it was getting to the point where I couldn't record anymore. So let's dig right into all the different parts we got for our computer. If you're not a computer nerd, don't worry, I'm going to explain what each of the parts do and why the ones we picked are awesome. So let's start with the case. The case is the part of the computer that you can see on the outside. It mostly helps hold everything together. We were looking for a cool case on the lower price range, and we got kinda lucky with this one. It has a tempered glass window, so you can actually see inside it, and some cool glowy bits on both the side and the front. We actually got a bit unlucky with this case. When it arrived, the back was so bent we couldn't have used it, but when we asked to exchange it on Amazon, we wouldn't have been able to get a replacement until a month later. Luckily, we were able to fix it with a hammer and banged it back into place, and since it was on the back, you can't see the minor warping that's left. Not too bad. Kinda cool, instead of black inside, it also has a white inside, so any black parts we have stand out even more. Next up, the motherboard. This is the part we really wanted to replace because it was crashing earlier. The motherboard is the part of the computer that helps connect all the different pieces of the computer together. We ended up picking an ASUS Prime B450 up from a really cool store called Micro Center. It's a giant warehouse-like store where you can shop for almost every computer part in one place. We didn't live anywhere near it, but it was worth the road trip to see it, and we saved a surprising amount compared to buying some pieces online. Next up is the power supply. The power supply is the part of the computer that helps convert the power from where you plug it into the wall to power your computer can use. Luckily, we were able to just use the original one we had. Power supplies are really cheap. We picked up a good new one for our family computer for like $30 since the original one we had was about 8 years old and wasn't compatible with our old motherboard at all. Next up, the CPU. Whenever you press a key, click the mouse, or start a game up, you're sending instructions to the CPU, the central processing unit. It's very tiny and can get very hot, so it's attached to a heatsink that helps keeps it cool. Our new computer's CPU is probably the most expensive individual piece we bought for this upgrade. We got the AMD Ryzen 5 2600X. Next, graphics card. The graphics card is responsible for what you see on the monitor. The better your graphics card, the better graphics you'll likely be able to use in-game. This was the one big piece we didn't need to upgrade. We had an AMD RX 480. Which I also use to more easily record video in-game with a free program it comes with called Radeon Relive. On my other computer, I actually have an NVIDIA graphic card and I can use a similar program called Shadowplay. In our old case, the graphics card was hidden, but in the new case you can see it has some really cool red glow lights on it. Next up, the hard drive. The hard drive is a long-term storage unit and is where you save things like photos or documents that stick around even after you turn off your computer. One of the issues I'd had with video editing is that because I've collected so much background footage over the years, our main hard drive was full and I was actually using 2 different external hard drives and flipping between them to find videos, and even those were starting to get full. My husband winded up picking up a 5 terabyte hard drive, so I don't think I'm going to run out of space anytime soon. We also got a crucial SSD, big enough to hold Windows as well as a few of our most played games, so they can start up and load really fast now. Next up, RAM, which stands for Random Access Memory. RAM is used for short-term memory on your computer. Rather than storing files like Word docs or photos, information that you're currently using is stored here and disappears when you turn off your computer. If you don't have enough RAM, you may notice that your computer is sluggish when you have several programs open at once. We actually had to upgrade this a while ago too, because when I'm working on videos I often have the game open, along with my video editor, internet browser, Photoshop, audio recorder, audio editor, and a few text documents all at once. This time around, we got a set of Corsair Vengeance DDR4s, like the case. They have colorful lighting, and we can sync their colors up with some of the other pieces in the case as well. We also added a second fan to the front of the case since the case only came with one in the back, and you guessed it, it can glow and change colors. Outside of what's in the computer case, we have some really old Sennheiser headphones, but they're so good they've been chugging along just fine for years. One of my most important computer accessories is my microphone. When I first started gaming online, I really wanted a better microphone compared to the garbage $13 one I picked up from Walmart. And since I was younger and not that great with money, I went full overkill and bought a Blue Yeti microphone for about $130. While that was a stupid financial decision by younger me, it actually worked out great because it's the microphone I use to make videos now. It's extremely sensitive though, so I'm not sure I'd recommend it for anything other than quiet audio recording. Personally, I like it a lot because I don't have to speak loudly for it to pick up my voice, and it's really easy to plug and play with it. The downside is that it also picks up any small noise for miles around, and it's huge. If I put it in the center of my monitor, I can't see almost a third of my screen. As for my mouse, I know a lot of gamers really enjoy having a mouse with a lot of buttons, especially for key bindings, but I'm old school and I would be pretty happy with any mouse as long as it has 2 buttons, a scroll wheel, and doesn't get stuck on anything when it moves. We've got a fairly inexpensive SteelSeries mouse. As for my monitor, I love it so much. My husband had entered a contest and forgotten about it, and out of the blue one day a huge monitor showed up at our doorstep. It's pretty great. If you've ever heard of people playing in 4K, this monitor is 2K and is about double the size and resolution of our old one. I like it a lot, and you can take it from my cold dead hands. I also have one kind of funny computer accessory that I use on a daily basis. This isn't quite a computer part, but it's probably the best computer accessory I've ever used. I'd gotten into a bad habit of knocking over glasses of water while gaming or working, and since water and computers don't mix well, I was really angry. I kept doing it and went digging to find some type of solution. Apparently I'm not the only one with this issue because there actually exists a kind of clip that you can clip to your computer desk and place your water in, and you can't knock it over when it's sitting in there. Since we got it, I haven't spilled anything since, and I'm really happy about it. Speaking of spilling water, I spilled water on our last keyboard a while ago, and we decided to upgrade it when we needed to get a new one. We found a deal on a Razer Deathstalker keyboard where you could upgrade to the chroma colored version for just $10 more. Guess who got the glowy version? Since we've built our new computer, so far I've noticed way faster load times in-game, significantly less micro-lagging or stuttering in our offline games with much higher settings, and I can happily report our computer hasn't crashed yet. Now that we've gone through all the pieces, let me show you some of the fun stuff the light syncing can do. So the first really cool thing you can see it do is syncing up all the different lights in the computer. The 2 bars of light at the top is the RAM, the slightly red one at the bottom doesn't change color, that's the graphics card, and on the right is the fan, so we've just got a whole bunch of rainbow colors going on in here, and that's probably my favorite setting, but not the one we use on a regular basis. It's pretty distracting. Now here's another really neat feature that I didn't know our computer had till we started playing with the settings. This is called a music syncing. Another really fun thing is that the RAM itself has a bunch of individual settings that you can try out, a bunch of different ways for the light to interact. Once again, most of these are extremely distracting and very crazy, so we don't use them very often except when we're playing around. We usually leave it on either a single color that matches with the other pieces, or we have it gently going through the gradient of the color cycle. And there's our new computer! Thank you so much to those of you who have donated through pledges, or of course all of you who simply watch the YouTube videos that I make. Hope you have a great day and good luck whenever you wind up building your own custom computer!